So it would appear that John Cena is competing at WrestleMania this year. Of course, he didn't compete last year at WrestleMania 35 in New York/New Jersey. So there was discussion whether the former 16-time world champion would indeed be competing at the show of shows this year at WrestleMania. So I can hear you already asking, who is going to be facing John Cena at WrestleMania? Is it going to be some big returning legend? Is it going to be one of the big stars currently on the main roster in WWE? Well, I can reveal now that according to Dave Meltzer, John Cena's opponent at WrestleMania will be none other than Elias. No, I'm not kidding. Elias is scheduled to be facing John Cena at WrestleMania. So, how is this all going to kick in and go to effect? Well, John Cena returns to WWE on the 28th of February edition of SmackDown on Fox, which is the first SmackDown after Super Showdown next week. They have the Thursday show in Saudi Arabia, the Super Showdown show, and then on Friday, the following day, they have the SmackDown live show. If anyone can get there in time. Obviously, there was the issues before Survivor Series, wasn't there, after the Crown Jewel event where none of the stars basically got there. NXT had to save the show, and whoever didn't go to Super Showdown, WWE is insisting this won't be the case this time. We will wait and see, but we do know that confirmed on that show, John Cena will be there. So it's there that he will likely begin his feud with Elias. Now, the thing I always keep thinking, ever since I heard this, I read this, is why? Why is John Cena going to be facing Elias? There is no logic there. There's no story there. There are so many things there that just don't compute, almost to the point where I'm starting to think it's a red herring. It makes that little sense. So let's go into him. Elias, he's a babyface at the moment. Ever since he returned last year from his injury, he had an ankle injury around September time in 2019. He was due to compete against Chad Gable in the King of the Ring semi-final. And he had an ankle injury. He missed the show at Madison Square Garden. Then he returned late last year with his guitar, singing, dissing people, and suddenly he's a babyface. At the time, people kind of went, oh, Elias is a babyface again. He has flip-flopped nearly as many times as The Big Show in the last year alone of being a babyface and a heel. To me, personally, I think his best work is as a heel, and if he's facing John Cena, he must be turning once again into a heel. But realistically, what's Elias done recently? He hasn't done anything. I can't think of anything substantial that Elias has done that I've gone, oh, you know what, I think he's really getting over, or oh, that's a really big spot for him. All he's done since he's returned, he's maybe done 3 or 4 matches, including the Royal Rumble. But apart from that, all he's done is sing songs to people like The Rock did back in 2003 of his concerts. At the Royal Rumble, he was second out. Similar to the year before when he was first, but this year he was second out, only to get absolutely destroyed by Brock Lesnar and thrown over the top rope in a matter of seconds. Now, I can hear what some people are saying when they say, well, a lot of people did, a lot of credible superstars did. That's not anything too big a deal on Elias's part, but when you're second, you're definitely remembered more than if you were, 4th or 5th in the Royal Rumble. So people's impressions of him are going to be, okay, he sang a lot, then he got killed by Brock Lesnar. Does that make him worthy of a WrestleMania match against the 16-time world champion John Cena? No. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, the story that WWE are going to try to tell here, from what I understand, and I think the story that they will go down, is they'll say, well, John Cena and Elias, they have had interactions the last 2 WrestleManias. At WrestleMania 34, the whole story going into WrestleMania, wasn't it, was John Cena was calling out The Undertaker, I want to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania, and they didn't even announce the match prior to the event. It was kind of going into the event, is The Undertaker going to show up? John Cena gets in the ring, lights go out, come back on, it's Elias, he comes out, talks some trash, Cena gives him the attitude adjustment, and then in the end we have the 90-second John Cena versus The Undertaker match, which that moment itself was cool, and almost Elias was almost a bit of an afterthought there. People going, well, that gave Elias a bit of the rub. Well, okay, at the time, fine. The next year, Elias is out once again at WrestleMania, he's out with his guitar, singing his songs, and he gets interrupted by John Cena in a bit of a throwback to his Doctor of Thugonomics character, gives a bit of a diss, hits an AA, and leaves once again. So I guess that's the story they'll tell. Oh, the last 2 years at WrestleMania, you've humiliated me, blah, blah, blah. This year I'm going to face you. as stories go, it's very weak. I'm not interested in seeing it. It's WrestleMania. It's John Cena. There should be a much bigger, grander, more intense, more personal, just overall better story. You can do better, WWE, when it comes to that. This is John Cena. He deserves priority attention when it comes to your stories. Now, people are going to say, well, other people deserve the attention, blah blah blah. But this is still John Cena at the end of the day, and John Cena sells tickets. Factor in also, John Cena hasn't wrestled a match since the end of 2018 on SmackDown. He didn't compete at all in a WWE ring in 2019. Okay, that's the first time that's happened since he debuted. It's the first time John Cena has ever gone a full calendar year without wrestling a match. So his matches, his appearances inside of a WWE ring are becoming more and more special because they're becoming more and more infrequent as he gets older, as he makes the transition into acting, as he makes the transition into Hollywood. And you waste, and it might seem harsh on Elias, but it's true, you waste one of these appearances, one of these matches, in having him face Elias at WrestleMania. The match might go like 10-15 minutes, but I'm not sure why it should. It's not believable at all that Elias could at any point win this match. And I know the counter argument to this match will be, well, maybe it'll give Elias the rub. No, it won't. It won't give Elias the rub. It won't make Elias more over than he currently is. Look at all these superstars that were apparently over going into their match against John Cena, and then Cena wins. How well did that do for Bray Wyatt after WrestleMania 30? It pretty much took him till this year, or last year, 2019, to reinvent himself and get back to the top of the card, because any momentum he had prior to WrestleMania 30 died when he lost to John Cena at WrestleMania 30. It was the wrong decision for John Cena to go over then. WrestleMania 31, what did that do for Rusev? Post-WrestleMania, he had a couple more matches with John Cena, but that was his undefeated streak, that was his shine gone, and Vince McMahon found a new shiny toy, and he didn't want him to definitely beat his favourite toy, and that being John Cena at WrestleMania 31. So it won't give Elias the rub. People will say, oh, Elias is doing good work in the build-up to WrestleMania, but once WrestleMania comes and goes and Cena beats him and then disappears this time, Elias is no better off. He's no better off. And again, the argument to this will be, who else could John Cena face? Who else could John Cena face? Everyone else is tied up doing their own thing. Roman Reigns going to be facing The Fiend. I know Goldberg's going to be facing someone else. All of this stuff. But there are so many names that are a better fit than Elias at WrestleMania. So I'll put my money where my mouth is. Who? One, Braun Strowman. How many WrestleManias has it been now? And Braun Strowman's been stiffed pretty much when it comes to the matches. He's been in Andre the Giant Battle Royals twice. He's teamed with a 8-year-old kid to win the tag titles. He's done nothing substantial at WrestleMania. He just won the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe you have Braun Strowman versus John Cena at WrestleMania. Braun Strowman is an actual legitimate person that if he beats John Cena at WrestleMania, it does him favours and actually gives Braun Strowman a credible WrestleMania match, which he hasn't had at this point. And he made his singles debut in 2016? 2017, 2016, I think. We're in 2020 now, and he hasn't had a substantial, credible singles WrestleMania match. I mean, that's appalling. So why not a match with John Cena? Now, I know these next two people are on Raw, but you could still do it. Why not Aleister Black? Okay? Aleister Black deserves a big push at WrestleMania. Again, a credible person that I have no doubts that Cena wouldn't have a problem putting over. Seth Rollins. Now, I know you say, well, we've seen John Cena versus Seth Rollins before, but their matches were always good, and this is a different Seth Rollins. This is Seth Rollins calling himself the Monday Night Messiah, him being over the top, him being, I'm the best thing to happen to Monday Night Raw, to WWE, I'm its saviour. How about the real saviour, shall we say, comes back, that being John Cena, and you've got that match. That's a story that's already there to be told, and they can carry the ball on that one. Now, personally, this would be the one I want to do. If John Cena's coming back on SmackDown, the person that he should face at WrestleMania is none other than Daniel Bryan. Okay, the story's already there. It makes complete sense. It makes a lot more sense than Elias facing John Cena at WrestleMania. And I'll tell you why. You have the story. Former almost brothers-in-law. Of course, John Cena was going out and at one point engaged with Nikki Bella for all those years. Daniel Bryan is married to Brie Bella, has a child with Brie Bella, one more on the way. Nikki Bella actually at the moment is now pregnant with that guy from Dancing with the Stars. But that's there. That's there. That connection's there. And in fact, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella actually lived at John Cena's house for quite a long time, whilst they were getting their own house ready. So, that matter between them, it's personal, it's real, it'll be uncomfortable, it would be great. And the match itself would be great. Cena and Bryan have wrestled in the past, not loads, but they've had matches in the past. I think back to SummerSlam 2013. And the match at the time, I think Cena had an elbow problem at the time, or a torn triceps or something like that. And the match was still great. Imagine a fully healthy John Cena and Daniel Bryan back in the ring once again, facing off against each other. That'd be great. And the story's there. The story's there. Now, the John Cena versus Elias match, that could have been a match worth seeing maybe 2 years ago. If it happened 2 years ago when Elias actually had some proper heat and he was over as a heel in his initial, when he sort of debuted on Raw, and he had that good run as a heel around sort of 2017, 2018, whenever that happened, he was good. He was good, and he was over with the crowd, and he actually had some heat at the time. But since then, what has Elias done? Nothing. He's done nothing. Nothing really of any credibility. He was Shane McMahon's lackey for a while, doing a few guest referee spots. He got speared by Edge at SummerSlam. And then apart from that, he sings and does occasional quips, and that's about it. And quite frankly, looking at it from a logical point of view, it's just not worth Cena's time. And if you're looking at this in kayfabe and storyline, whatever you want to call it, John Cena shouldn't have any problems putting away Elias. Think of the people he's put away in the past. He's beaten the likes of Batista, he's beaten the likes of Edge, Randy Orton. The list goes on and on. Why would he have any struggles facing Elias at WrestleMania? It feels such a letdown. John Cena's match is a marquee match. We talk about there's only one main event of WrestleMania, and then some people would say in The Undertaker's sort of prime years, when The Undertaker wasn't the main event, they would all say, well, actually the main event's whatever match The Undertaker's in. And it's the same situation with John Cena at this point. John Cena is still a huge star. He's transcended the WWE into Hollywood. So whatever match John Cena's in is also going to be considered the main event, if not one of the main events, when it comes to WrestleMania. At the moment, he's one of the biggest names in Hollywood, and he comes back to face a mid-card babyface at best, or a mid-card heel if Elias turns. It's just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said earlier, Elias will have to turn heel again. He has no heat, and not a lot, if any, momentum at this point, especially not any momentum worthy enough of facing a John Cena at WrestleMania. And now the match itself, I'm not saying the match will be bad. Elias can work, and of course Cena can work. The match itself will be fine, but there's only going to be one winner there, really, isn't there? Let's be honest. I mean, the outcome's predictable. We always complain with WWE. We've seen people complain about it with the Elimination Chamber with Shayna Baszler, saying, well, Shayna's already feuding with Becky Lynch, so we know who's going to win that chamber match. We hate when things are predictable, and that's not just a wrestling thing, that's a television thing. If you're watching your favourite show and then they do this twist and you go, I saw that coming, it takes you out of it. You go, that sucks. It's predictable. I could write this. The reason you watch these programs or you watch wrestling is to take you out of where you currently in the headspace you are. You want to lose yourself in what you're watching. And if things are predictable and go the way that you think, it takes you out of that moment when you go, okay, this is rubbish. This isn't worth my time. This isn't worth watching. So when it's predictable and the outcome of this is predictable, John Cena will win. It's boring. It's not worth your time. Like I said, the better option here would be a Daniel Bryan John Cena storyline, a Daniel Bryan versus John Cena match. It's by far the better option, and there's still time to do it. John Cena comes back next week. There is still time for WWE to go, wait a minute, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is stupidity at the highest level, if we even consider having Elias versus John Cena at WrestleMania. Now, as I touched on earlier, the only thing I can almost think of at this point is that this is so mad, this is so crazy that maybe it's a red herring. Maybe it's a red herring to the point of when they're like, okay, we're going to put out that he's facing Elias, and then Cena comes back and we kickstart like a Daniel Bryan feud or something that's worthy of The Rock, of John Cena competing at WrestleMania. But that's what the level he's at now. John Cena. I say The Rock because that's the level he's at. He's at the Rock level. He's not only a top star in wrestling, and a legend, an icon in wrestling, he's a top star in Hollywood. And when you become a top star in Hollywood, you also have that crossover appeal that they know, hey, if John Cena's competing at WrestleMania, I don't usually watch wrestling or WrestleMania or anything like that, but I like John Cena's movies, I'll give it a shot, I'll watch it. And then you have to make them stay. Now, John Cena versus Elias isn't going to make them stay. It's just not. It's just not. And they'll take a look at Elias and go, oh, this is a jacked up guy. He sings with a guitar, but why should John Cena have any problem beating him? And he's certainly not worth John Cena's time for a marquee match at WrestleMania. So that's my opinion on it. Whether it actually happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. Whether it's a red herring or not, again, we'll have to wait and see. But it's not just all about me. What do you think? Should John Cena be facing Elias at WrestleMania? Is it going to happen? Is it a red herring? If the match does go ahead, how would you book it? Would you even book it? Who else would you like to see John Cena face at WrestleMania? Would you like to see him face a Braun Strowman, an Aleister Black, a Seth Rollins, or a Daniel Bryan, or someone else along those lines? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. There'll be lots more videos coming along very soon. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media channels as well. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. If there's social media, we are on it. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, wherever you've come across this video today, and I'll speak with you again very, very soon.